This is Vijay Mehta with Ambition Talent. When doctors diagnosed Professor Stephen Hawking with the early stages of ALS, it was devastating news for him and his family. But a few events prevented him from becoming completely despondent. The first of these came while Hawking was still in the hospital. There he shared a room with a boy suffering from leukemia. Relative to what his roommate was going through, Hawking later reflected that his situation seemed more tolerable. Not long after he was released from the hospital, Hawking had a dream that he was going to be executed. He said this dream made him realize that there were still things to do with his life. In a sense, Hawking's disease helped him become the noted scientist he is today. Before the diagnosis, Hawking hadn't always focused on his studies. Before his condition was diagnosed, he'd been very bored with life. There hadn't seemed to be anything worth doing. With a sudden realization that he might not even live long enough to earn his PhD, Hawking poured himself into his work and research. This is Vijay Mehta with Ambition Talent. They found out about him in July and stayed angry all through August. They tried to kill him in September. It was way too soon. They weren't ready. The attempt was a failure. It could have been a disaster, but it was actually a miracle because nobody noticed. They used their usual method to get past security and set up 100 feet from where he was speaking. They used a silencer and missed him by an inch. The bullet must have passed right over his head, maybe even through his hair, because he immediately raised his hand and patted it back into place, as if a gust of wind had disturbed it. They saw it over and over again afterward on television. He raised his hand and patted his hair. He did nothing else. He just kept on with his speech, unaware, because by definition, a silenced bullet is too fast to see and too quiet to hear. So it missed him and flew on. It missed everybody standing behind him. It struck no obstacles, hit no buildings. It flew on straight and true until its energy was spent and gravity hauled it to earth in the far distance, where there was nothing except empty grassland. There was no response, no reaction. Nobody noticed. It was like the bullet had never been fired at all. They didn't fire again. They were too shaken up. So, a failure, but a miracle and a lesson. They spent October acting like the professionals they were, starting over, calming down, thinking, learning, preparing for their second attempt. It would be a better attempt, carefully planned and properly executed, built around technique and nuance and sophistication, and enhanced by unholy fear. A worthy attempt, a creative attempt, above all, an attempt that wouldn't fail. Then November came, and the rules changed completely.